Good morning, YouTube families and friends. We're back with another video. So the holidays and the trips in Jamaica is over with, so now it's back to work. All right, so today's task here in the house that we bought, we're going to try and keep the process going. And what we're going to work on today is the ceilings. The ceilings in this house has a certain texture on it, which this was probably done when the house was built back in the 80s. So we don't want that to be here when we get ready to sell this house. So we're going to get rid of this texture. So let me show you what this texture look like, and you'll agree with me to get rid of it. All right. This is what it looked like. It's a stump ceiling. Back in the 80s, this was the style that used to just cover up imperfection, just kind of like we're using popcorns. I mean, popcorn was one of those things. Popcorn was just a little bit earlier than the stump ceiling. This came in to replace popcorn because it started looking dingy after a while. So I guess somehow this was the next best thing that happens. Now, after popcorn, then folks start going with like orange peel, knockdown, all those different texture ceiling. So this one is just not going to cut it for us here. So we're going to try our best to get rid of this one. And I tried a little spot over here, which is, I don't know if you can see that right there, with a little soap and water and probably a little additives in the water, which, whatever works for y'all is fine. Just try a little solvent and see what works. But we're going to try to get this off here today and trying to, I guess, sand it down, do a level 5 on it, a level 5 finish, which is, just to hide any imperfection. And we're going to try and get it repainted, hang our ceiling fan, and put a brand new register up. Or if not brand new, we can probably paint the one that we had up there. There's nothing wrong with it. We probably can just use some trim paint and paint it so it'd be nice and white. So, but today this is the task, and because of the dirt and all the mess it caused while I'm doing it, I'm probably not going to be able to record everything. But I'll keep you up to date on what I'm doing. So just stay tuned, and as always, thank you for joining me and watching me work. And please, always subscribe to the channel and like the videos so it can reach more people out there. Again, thank you for joining me this morning. And this is Life with Dixons. All right. All right, folks, we're about to get started. This process is going to require, well, if you don't have a spray rig, you can use just a bug sprayer just to wet the ceiling up, or just a regular spray bottles. The fact that, like I said, I do this for a living, so I have the tools that needed to do projects like this. But if you don't, and this is just a weekend project for you, you don't need to go out and buy a spray rig. You can just easily get a bug sprayer. It's a pretty cheaper tool to use. You can get those at Home Depot, Lowe's, Walmart, wherever you go, wherever you shop at. Just a regular bug sprayer. Fill it up with your water, your liquid, whatever you're using to soften the texture on the ceiling. What I'm using. I mean, you have seen this machine before. It's a Graco Airless spray rig, and this is what I'm gonna use to wet the ceiling up. I already got my mixture in my bucket and my Airless sprayer. If you don't have one of these, you don't need to go out and buy one of these, folks. Bug spray. Just get a bug spray from Home Depot, Lowe's, or Walmart, wherever you shop at, and it does the same thing. It just takes a little bit more elbow grease from pumping and doing all of that. I don't want to go through that part of pumping. I just want to just pick up my spray rig and start spraying, because this is the same thing I use to spray the house down with, spray all my doors and whatever I spray. This is exactly what I use. So this has been good to me over the years, so I keep using it. So once again, the project for today is getting this texture off the ceiling. All right, so gun tip. I have a I think this is a 515 tip, purple tip. So I always use this to spray my sealants, give me a nice flow, doesn't put out too much paint, so it works for me. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm just gonna start the machine up and just gonna wet the sealant up, okay? It's already cranked up. Make sure it's nicely wet. I go north to south, east to west, just to make sure I don't miss any spots. So once I start scraping, it just come off a whole lot easier. Sealing. I don't want to do more than that because I don't want it to dry up too fast before I get it all scraped. So I think just you can do a quarter of the sealing. You can do just like a section, 4 foot by 4 foot, whatever works for y'all. I've done this before, so I know if I weight it down. If I weight it down real good, I pretty much can scrape half the sealing down pretty much before it dry. So this comes from experience. All right, so now we'll give it about 10 minutes to dry up, and then we'll start the scraping. So I'm not going to let you sit here and wait for 10 minutes, so I'll click back in once 10 minutes pass. All right, see you in a little bit. All right, it's about 8 minutes now, and we're going to try and see how far our weight it is. It's ready. So, like I said, folks, this is a messy process. So, just to show you what it looked like, so if you decide on trying to do it yourself, you'll understand what to expect. So, and I think that the reason why a lot of people let a contractor do this portion of it, because of it rips the sheetrock up when you're trying to scrape it, because you wet it and it's paper. So when you're trying to scrape it, it's gonna try and rip the paper of the sheetrock. So if you don't know how to refinish it, my best is to get somebody who knows how to do this portion to do it. Even if you were an avid painter, everybody doesn't know how to finish. So, my best bet is if you can't finish, and if you don't know how to finish in process, you probably can just easily watch a video on YouTube of how to finish, how to get it back to where it's supposed to look like. I know how to finish, so this part doesn't bother me one bit. And plus, this is my house, so I can spend as much time up there. There's no money coming from this for me. I just take my time. This is Saturday. Nothing else on the schedule. For me, my wife got her stuff to do, but this is my project for today. Is to get this texture off the ceiling. All right, so stay tuned. And again, if it's not coming off as easy as you want it, you can always wet it back down, but just keep in mind, the more you wet it, the more it's going to want to tear the paper. Okay, drywall ain't nothing but paper. So the more you wet it, it's the more it's gonna want to tear or rip or scratch up or whatever word you want to use to describe it. It's gonna get messy. There it goes. Okay, so after a bunch of hours, this is exactly what it looked like. The texture is off. The paper is peeled back a bunch of spots, and as we expected. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put some kind of bonding primer on it, just so when you start doing your mud work, it won't be peeling. All right, so this is what it looks like once you get the texture off the ceiling. And okay, so this is actually the following day. We primed the ceiling with that bonding primer, and we start skimming the edges just before we're gonna skim the entire thing. For me, it's a little bit easier just to get the corners or the edges already skimmed, to where I don't have to put my big blade all the way across in the corners. So I'll just go ahead and just run the flats. I'll take me like, I don't know, 4 foot at a time, just run a 4-foot stretch and go all the way across, then come back and do it again. So today is skimming day. And this is just like the first pass. Sometimes you don't need to do a second, because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a level 5 finish on it. And that's a mixture of mud and primer. So it will cover up any of the imperfections that it might have. Let me show you what the corners look like, and let me show you what the ceiling look like. This is actually the next day after we prime with the bonding primer. All right, so here's what it looked like. So there it is. I did all the way around, just so I'm gonna use my 12-inch blade to do a full skim of the ceiling. So I don't want I have to worry about trying to stick the blade up in the corners and whatever. And so I just took my 5-inch blade and go around all the corners and all the sides and angles and get those done first. And then I'm gonna come back with my 12-inch blade and I'm gonna run the entire thing. All right, this is what we're using. This is, and the mud would be your choice. If you go to Home Depot or Lowe's, Sherwin-Williams, wherever you can get your compound mud from, they have a lot of different, there's a lot to choose from. It depends on how fast you want it dry. It depends on the project you're doing. Like I told before, this is my house, so therefore I'm in no hurry. But if you're doing a job for somebody, say, you know, you have a time limit or a time crunch that you have to get done by, you can choose the mud that will dry faster. You know, I've seen guys whoop up 90-minute mud in a bucket and skim ceiling and come back with what I'm using and skim over it, do a fine skim over it. But it's totally up to you which material you want to go with. Like I said, this is just my choice. And so I'm gonna full skim the ceiling and then let it dry, and then we're gonna put our sander on it, smooth it out and see if there's any imperfection on it. And then we're gonna level 5 the ceiling, and after that we'll just go ahead and put 2 coats of paint on it. So that should be it. It's probably not gonna get done today. We're probably not gonna get it all done today, but we'll get the skim done today and see how long it takes to dry. Right now it's about I don't know, 8 something in the morning. So we're gonna get going with it, and we see you along the way. I'll just chip in and let you see where I'm at periodically. All right, good. All right, so got my 12-inch blade here. Regular sheetrock blade. Got a full pan of mud. And okay, what I did also with the mud, I put a little bit of my Dawn dishwashing liquid in it, just to soften it up a little bit and just to keep it consistent so it doesn't dry out too quick. And that's just the way I do it. So join me as I work. Hopefully you can see me over here. My scaffold is a little bit too high for this ceiling, so I'm probably gonna have to go with my 4-foot ladder, and hopefully this will be good. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna just pull along and keep going. That's pretty much it. Let me see if I can bring it in a little bit closer so you can see it. So that's about 3 foot of skimming right there. I don't know how good you can see it. The camera's not doing the mud no justice or the spot, but that's pretty much it right there. It's just 3 foot. That's already done. So I'm gonna go ahead and just get the whole thing finished, and I'll check back in later on. Okay, so we're all done with the skimming. Now this take a little bit, and it definitely take a hell of a lot of elbow grease to do this part. But you know, if you're doing this for yourself, just be patient with it. Don't try to take on too much. You know, like I said, run about 3 feet at a time. And if that's too much, do 2 foot. You know, just skim a little bit, you know, and keep going. You don't have to try to get it all in one swipe, or you don't have to do it in big, long 4-foot swipe. Just 2 foot, 3 foot at a time. You know, hit, come down, go back up, and just do it. So anyway, this is what it looks like after it's skimmed. Now after this dry, which right now is, I don't know what time is it, after 9, I'm gonna make breakfast and then look back at it after a couple of hours to see what it looked like. If it's dry up, then I'll put my sander on it. I have one of these porter cable sander, which takes out a lot of the manual part of it. This will be doing the sanding for me. It opens up. It's closed up right now, but I'll open it up, attach it to my vacuum, so I won't have the dust and all that from sanding drywall. The vacuum will actually suck the dust up while I'm sanding. And yeah, we'll just whoop up that level 5, and after that we'll just apply it, and then once it's dry, we'll paint it. The level 5 is just similar to priming, but like I said, I mix up some mud in my primer to where any imperfection in the ceiling, it'll cover even after you sand. So that's what I'll do later on after this dry up. But stay tuned, watch the process, and thanks for hanging in there and watching me work. All right, see you in a little bit. So it's a couple of hours afterwards, and there's still a whole bunch of wet spots in the ceiling. So I'm not gonna be able to put a sander on it just yet. You can still see all, you know, the dark spot. Those are the wet spots in the ceiling. everywhere where it's kind of dark, that is the wet spots. So if I put the sander on it now, it would just rip it up. So we don't want to do that. So we want it to dry as much as we can before we actually put the sander on it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move on to the hallway here, which I already started doing. I'm gonna start running the angles or the corners, and so I can just go ahead and get this done too today, and then maybe when it's time to prime, I can just do the bedroom and this hallway at the same time. So I'll set the camera up so y'all can see the process in here, since this is a smaller space. All right, give me a second. So, like I said, what I do, I take my 5-inch blade and I'll do the angles. We call it the angles or the corners. So when I put the big blade on it, it would be, I don't think, trying to get the angles with the big blade. So. Pretty much what I'm doing, it's kind of like just putting the mud on and wiping it back off. It's kind of like, that's the concept, but you're leaving just a small bit of it on there, just to give it a nice smooth finish. So it appears that's what I'm doing. Putting the mud on, wiping it back clean, and that also cut down on your sanding. So when it's time for you to sand, you don't have big buildup of mud to sand. So you kind of like wipe it nice and clean. Everybody do theirs different. Some leave a little bit more. Ron will do his one way. Randy will do his one way. And sometimes they will actually butt head of which way it's supposed to be done. I just be standing back and listening to them. But I think wiping it clean with just a small bit left back on it is perfect. But like I said, everybody got their own system. So shout out to Ron and shout out to Randy Bremage and Ronald Williams. Shout out, brother. All right, so that's it for the 5-inch blade. Now I'm not even gonna go with the 12. I'm just gonna go with the 10. This is a 10-inch blade that I'm gonna use, and I'm just gonna pull just about 3 feet. Just cover it all over, and then I wipe the edge away. And then I lay it as flat as I can get it. You don't want to be going back and forth too much on it. Let me get here a little closer here. So hopefully y'all can see what I'm doing. Okay. So this is what the plan is. I tend to just start in one end. Just bring it halfway. And then go back from the other end and meet up with where I stop at. That's pretty much it. And you can lay it down. Wipe the edge off. And just wipe it down. Nice and clean. And the blade is at an angle. So it's not pulling all of it off. You have it at an angle. All right. So that's what I'm doing. Pull the mud. No need to rush it. Then you're gonna have like a little streak right there. We're gonna get rid of that with the 6-inch blade. Have a nice clean blade. Won't have any old dry mud on it. And then we have a little line right here that we're gonna just pull the 6 to cover it. Wipe it back up. That's it. Move on down a little bit more. Finish around it, just in case the light would pick to go around it. Doesn't cover the entire space going around it. So we just want to make sure lay it down going around it. It's nice and smooth. So I use a 6-4 here. That's a close-up of it right there. Okay, so we have this bathroom ceiling. That's what it looked like before. I don't know if y'all could see the first time I'm trying to show you what it looked like, but this is exactly what the texture looked like before. And I don't know what's better, if this is better, but this is so dated. I mean, come on, you know, and this is exactly what it looked like in this guest bathroom. So I'm gonna get my sander. Since I still got a whole bunch of time left in the day, I think it's now after, let me see what time it is. It's like after 12. So I think I'm gonna just get my sander and take that vent down and look at this, guys. I mean, if this is not in the 80s, I don't know what is. This is the bathroom light. This is so dated, man. Look at that. You gotta be kidding me. I don't know who decided to say, hey man, let's put this up. So we're gonna get rid of that, of course, and put a light on the wall and get rid of this mirror, put a nice mirror up and just make it a little bit more, you know, up to date. This is just too far. This is just too old, stuck in the 80s, way back. So, good. All right, so this is what the ceiling looks like when I took the vent down, and that ugly light is also gone. So I'm going and I took the air conditioned vent out of here too. If you can see right there, that's out too. So nothing up from the ceiling, just done with the sanding. Now I'm gonna sand. Kind of like show you the process. If y'all can see while I sand. Just kind of pick up my sander, and y'all will see the process. It's a little bit. I don't know how good y'all can see this, but this one is not budging. Apparently, this ceiling was painted with some kind of a semi-gloss paint. It's not the same flat paint that they use in the bedroom. This was painted with some kind of a semi-gloss, I guess, for moisture purposes. So this is not going to be as easy as those other rooms, as the other bedroom. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm probably just gonna go ahead and just start skimming over it because it's not budging. It's real hard. Just the sander alone is not gonna help. So I'm gonna have to go over it with skimming. And it's not just, this is not gonna be the regular skimming. This is more like a bed coat. You gotta cover that texture. So this is not as easy as I thought, or as the other bedroom. So gotta put some elbow grease in this one. All right, so let me get my mud tools and get set up and get back with you with this one. All right. All right, guys, we apologize for the inability of the photographer or the videographer. We actually record, well, we attempt to record it, but we didn't press the record button. So here's the tail end. I actually stopped to show y'all a little bit, but I realized that I didn't press the button, but we still got a little bit to go, so you'll see the process and finish up this a little bit. Again, we apologize that y'all didn't get to see the start of it. There it is, guys. That's pretty much what we're trying to accomplish. Let me get you a close-up. So the mud covers the texture, and we got a somewhat a smoother, untextured ceiling. It's really rough right now, but this will have to dry up overnight. And then what I'll do tomorrow, I'll do the sanding. Not a lot of sanding, just a light sanding, and then do the same process that I did to the bedroom and the hallway, just to re-skim it. So this will dry up and give you a nice white, somewhat smoother surface without the texture. Okay, and then tomorrow we'll do the next phase. So again, we apologize for not showing you the beginning of it, but sometimes when you're new at this video and stuff, it's, you know, there's a lot of learning curve, a lot of stuff you got to remember, but at least I got you some, you see some of the process. All right, so this is what it looked like. All right, so we're gonna take a look at what we did today so far. We did skim the ceiling. This is our bedroom number 1. We did skim it, and it's now actually dry after a bunch of hours. There's still a couple of wet spots that I'm looking at. So we're probably not going to do nothing else with this ceiling until tomorrow. So I'll just let it dry up real good overnight, and then tomorrow you can see all those dark spots. That's wet mud right there. Anywhere you see those dark spots, it's pretty much wet mud right here, so on and so on. So we're not going to do nothing else with that. We're going to let it dry up overnight, and then tomorrow we'll come back and we'll sand this one down, and then we'll level 5 it along with the hallway ceiling. It's also still wet. You can still see wet spots in it. So I have a short day today. I'm gonna let it go. I'll take care of some errands. So, and here's the bathroom. It's already bedded. This is a bed coat. This is not the same as the one that we did to the bedroom. This is where we apply the mud and we leave most of it back on the ceiling just to create another layer over the texture. Okay, and we're gonna cut here for right now. All right, guys, we're gonna probably call it today. This is as much as I can do. Can't get nothing else done because the mud is not drying on time, so we're just gonna call it. So thank you for joining me again today. Like I said, always like, share, and subscribe to the video. In that case, it will reach more folks out there who are, who are in need of some of these lessons or these tips just to get some of the projects around their house done easier. And we just appreciate it if y'all just hit the thumbs up button and help the algorithms. Anyway, so we'll see you tomorrow. We'll try again to get the first bedroom ceiling done. So we'll talk to you tomorrow. And like I says, love each other, and we always go further. Thank you.